Next, we'll talk about descriptive research. And the purpose of descriptive research is to kind of determine the frequency in which something occurs and how much different activities are related to other variables. Throughout the text, you're going to be hearing a lot about variables. A lot of times it's just another question or item we are trying to determine. In descriptive research, we've got basically two different types of studies that we're going to be following. As I said before, a lot of times descriptive and exploratory research are going to be combined together when researching a problem. When we worked at the grocery store, we did a descriptive study, and then we did a exploratory research. Basically took some information that we got in the actual survey and said, let's get more in-depth information, and that's when we did the exploratory focus groups. The two different types of descriptive studies you'll see are cross-sectional studies and longitudinal studies. When we look at descriptive studies and identify what outcomes are we looking for, there's one of four things that we may be looking for this study to do. It may only be one of these four. It could be more. It could be multiple of these. But one is going to be how well can we describe the characteristics of a certain group. A lot of times business owners that I work with have a hard time answering the question when I say, who's your customer? Well, everybody. No? How specifically can we identify who your customer is? What's the characteristics that your customer shows? Can we identify these customers and why or to what percentage or proportion do they behave? And when we talk about behavioral, it could be purchasing habits, it could be shopping habits. Can we make specific predictions about a product or service based on research we've done? Can we do predictions on sales forecasting, potential market share situations? And then finally, can we determine a relationship between different variables? And so when we do surveys, we generally will do some tabulation of cross-tabulations and to see if there's a relationship between variable A or variable B. And so a lot of times we'll say, if the respondent answered B to question 8, show me how they answered question 12. Is there a relationship between those two items? And so we look at the two different types of studies. First one we'll look at is the cross-sectional study. And for the cross-sectional study, that basically means we have a sample of the population that we're going to research one time. And so we're going to send them a survey. This is the only survey they're necessarily going to get or that we're going to track from them. And so generally we call that a sample study. A lot of times those studies are going to be reported in averages and or percentages. And so we might say, okay, 58% of people responded to the study liked the teaching habits of this teacher. All right. Where the cross-sectional is different from the longitudinal study is that the longitudinal study is going to say, we're going to take this sample. All right. But we're not going to just sample them once. What we're going to do is we're going to sample them and we're going to research them many times. And so with longitudinal, we'll do that one of two ways. We'll do what we call a continuous panel or a discontinuous panel. And so a continuous panel, basically what the continuous panel is going to do is they're going to receive the same survey over and over again. And so we might have this continuous panel working for us for a year. And every month we're going to send them the same survey with the exact same questions. And so what we're trying to do there is identifying, has there been a shift in the opinion of that sample? Was there something that we did that changed that opinion? Then we also have what we call the discontinuous panel, which means we have the same group, the same sample, but we're asking them different questions throughout their experience with us.